My name is Mohsen Nazemi. I got my PhD in transportation engineering from ETH Zurich. Currently, I'm a postdoc researcher at Toronto Metropolitan University in the Laboratory of Innovations in Transportation. Today, I'm not going to only talk about my PhD, my postdoc research, but also the challenges that I faced and I had to overcome to be able to conduct my research. Since 2016, my research has been at the intersection of transportation engineering, psychophysiology, and human behavior. I have been using virtual reality since then because virtual reality makes impossible possible for me. This is my PhD research, actually. I was studying cycling safety at that time using a virtual reality bicycle simulator combined with a physiological sensor. We used to invite participants to come to our laboratory. They were invited to sit on this bicycle. The bicycle was fixed on a bicycle stand. They were wearing the goggles. There was a sensor connected to their hand, which was measuring their electrodermal activity as an indicator of their stress level. And they were riding through different bicycle facilities in VR. So we could measure their behavior and their stress level under different conditions. Very important characteristic of this setup was that it was stationary. Participants were not supposed to walk in the room with the VR. Very hard task. For my postdoc research, we know that autonomous vehicles are coming to our roads, but they also bring new challenges for us, especially for pedestrians. Pedestrians are used to have eye contact when they want to cross a street, especially at unsignalized intersections. However, autonomous vehicles, they don't have any driver, so there is no eye contact. This might create new challenges. That's why some autonomous vehicle factories are creating external human-machine interfaces to just enable the participants to know about the decision of the AV. So what we wanted to understand here in this research was that does pedestrian behavior change in the presence of AV, especially about the stress level of the pedestrians? Again, we use virtual reality combined with galvanic skin response sensor, which measures the electrodermal activity, again, as an indicator of the stress level of the pedestrians. Since this was a joint collaboration between Toronto Metropolitan University and Newcastle University in the UK, we selected two locations, one in Toronto, one in Newcastle. The Union Station was simulated in VR, and then we defined an experiment task. In our experiment, participants start by standing on a sidewalk. They are supposed to go to the yellow tactile pavement on the sidewalk. They have to find a suitable and safe moment to cross the street. They have to cross the street multiple times under different experimental manipulations. As you can see in the illustration on the left, this setup needs a large space to be able to conduct this research, and this time participants have to walk in the room while wearing the goggle. Very challenging. But the virtual reality equipment originally comes with two base stations. They are usually installed at the corners of the room, and they track the movement of the head-mounted display. That's how you are enabled to actually move in VR. But they can only cover a 5 meter by 5 meter area, and we needed approximately 10 meter by 10 meter. Then we say, okay, we just add two more base stations, we expand the play area, and by that we have solved the issue. So we also needed to extend the original cables that are connected to the head-mounted display. Now, at this stage, we were thinking that, okay, we are ready to conduct the experiment, very excited. Now let's see what happened. The extended cable had issues. This is the very first pilot participant. In multiple cases, the wires were just tangling, so very difficult to just take care of that. The participant also was supposed to take care of the wires and be careful with that while wearing the goggle, which was almost an impossible task. Me as the researcher, I had to take care of the wire, and this was only one round. So the participant was supposed to go multiple rounds. Now you see what happened in another round. Again, I almost tripped on the wire. At the end of the first pilot participant, I realized that, okay, this is completely a failure. I cannot do this. I have to come up with a new design. That's how I thought of this new ceiling pulley system. We use a flexible curtain track. We use track rollers, ceiling brackets, and zip ties to create this system because, of course, we were not also allowed to drill any holes in the ceiling, another limitation, but we managed to do it with zip ties. As you can see in the video, I was freely moving in the room while wearing the goggle. At least for the straight line, it was working perfectly. Then again here I said, okay, now I'm ready to conduct my research. Great job. Let's see what happened next. This is the very next pilot participant while creating the turn. Since we had loose connections to the ceiling, this happened actually. Almost the whole ceiling pulley system fell down, which was again a complete failure. So we had to actually enhance these connections to the ceiling, and we did that. Again, with the next pilot participant, he actually turned a bit sooner than expected, so his head was dragged back because of this wire connected to the head-mounted display. So we had to fix all these small issues to be able to conduct the research. In the final setup, we managed to have 2 different setups next to each other, just to speed up the data collection because we had lost a lot of time. But at least we could freely move around the room with the head-mounted display on, and then without the need of the help of anybody else. So this was a great achievement. And then finally, we were able to conduct the research with our main participants. This is one of the main participants, and some interesting things happened. This is the participant's view. On the top left, you can see the white box, which shows the online stress level of the participant.
There we go, that's my style. Oh, they're going that way too. Oh, I got an accident. Holy shit. Okay, didn't know I was supposed to look the other way.
So you can see how the stress level has been increased at this moment compared to the previous moments. Of course, in reality, we were never able to get permissions from the ethics committee to conduct such research. Thanks to VR, we were able to do that. This is the exact part of the signal that you saw in the previous video. After applying some signal processing techniques, we were able to identify the stressful moments. Those are the dots on the actually line that you can see. We were also able to estimate the amplitude of each of these stressful moments. So for example, here you can see the incurred stress due to the risk of having an accident. That's how big it is. But on top of all of this, we were able to measure the stress of the participants when they were dealing with autonomous vehicles versus just normal vehicles. And that was the main goal of this research. At the end of the day, we managed to complete the experiment with 51 pilot participants, 113 main participants, and in total 164 participants. This hectic data collection took more than 2 years to complete. And of course, we had to observe all the COVID-19 safety protocols. We distributed more than 7,000 Amazon gift cards just for compensation to participate in our research. For concluding remarks, this study involved one of the most complicated VR data collection processes. We initially considered using wireless VR headsets, but we had to make a compromise on the quality, and that was certainly not desired for us. We developed a ceiling pulley system tailored for ambulatory VR setups, which is, by the way, completely outdated after the introduction of this Apple Vision Pro, which is wireless, high quality, amazing. So there is no use for our ceiling pulley system anymore. The resulting data set stands among the world's largest and most reliable data sets of virtual reality combined with physiological sensors. And please stay tuned for our forthcoming paper on quantifying pedestrian stress level during a street crossing in the presence of AVs. Thank you for your attention.